I call them Baka or forest dwelling people, because that's really what they are. And she came to me in this like awake dream several times over the course of a year. And she said, "You need to come and find me. I have been instructed to tell you that I have a very important message for you, and you must find me. And I'm in the Congo." And I was like, "What?" I mean, how am I going to accomplish this? And over the course of that year, she would come to me and give me specific details about where she was located, actually coordinates of, I could see coordinates of a map.
Mhm.
And it was wild. It was like she even told me, "Okay, you fly into this place in Cameroon in the city, and you drive and you go all the way across. You draw one line and you go all the way across from Yaoundé, which is the city, a big city in Cameroon, and it will take you 15 to 17 hours to drive it. You will get to the border." I mean, I could see all of this very, very clearly, even down to the village where she was. And I decided, okay, I'm going to just run with this. Why not? I hired a friend of mine who lives in Cameroon. He's a French journalist. He's Cameroonian, but he works for a French newspaper. So he speaks English, he speaks French, obviously. And I said to him, "I know this sounds crazy, but I really kind of need a fixer on the ground. Are you able to help me?" And he's like, "Sure." So he signed up for the challenge. And between the two of us, he was able to identify people that actually knew this woman. She was a very, very high priestess. She was very well known from all parts of Africa, in that region anyway, that they would go to her for healing, but she was very, very well respected. And so we did. It was exactly the way she said it would unfold. I flew into Yaoundé. We took a car that broke down like 3 or 4 times. I have these crazy photos and videos of the car where the hubcaps had fallen off and then the tires pop because the roads are so bad. And we get over to the border finally of the Congo. It took us like 4 days to drive there. And we get to this little village and we're asking around and they're pointing us to the direction of where she is. And they said, "But you have to walk." And in the awake dream of the telepathically her and I communicating, she said, "There will be a very large river that you're going to have to swim across." And I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is nuts." I mean, I've been in some precarious situations, but this is really wild. And so we get to this little village. Nobody said anything about a river, but then there was a river, a pretty big one that we had to swim across. And I continued to ask these, leaders, these people that the villagers that were leading us on this guided tour. I said, "Gosh, how much longer?" We'd already been hiking like 3, 4 hours. I'm like, "Oh, not much longer." He has no concept of time. Nobody wears a watch. Nobody has a cell phone there. Cell phones don't work. And so I was like, "Okay, I'm just going to go with it." I told my friend, "Well, we're going to keep walking." 7 hours, one direction, 7 hours. And that included crossing the river. It took us to get to the place where she was. And it was the most magical location, this clearing. It was a cacao forest and all these beautiful old cacao trees. And she's sitting there, her and her husband and an elderly woman and a baby. And it was just them. I mean, it was just nothing else around, no other dwellings, nothing, no other people. And she looked up at me and she nodded. And in her Baka language, she said, "The ancestors told me you would be coming."
Oh
And I
my
was
God.
like,
Oh my God,
"Wow."
that is so amazing.
It was
We have to pause for a second here.
sure.
'Cause I want to ask you, what did you think when you had these dreams, these waking dreams or lucid dream, where she came to you and then she ended up being a real person? What do you think about that? Like then and now, what do you think?
Yeah. Um, just incredible. It's like this medicine. Anybody that has experience with this plant knows that there's just such a divine operating system. I can't explain it to people who have never experienced it. And it just never leads us astray. It's like it just leads us to the exact place and people we need to be directed to if we listen, if we pay attention, if we are receptive to it.
Are you saying that the plant is kind of, well, ayahuasca is called telepathine, they say
Yeah.
ayahuasca is telepathic. Is iboga is also probably, and it's in the
Mm,
telepathic part is not so much, I feel, and I'm curious about this, not so much a function of um, the plants, but that the plants open up your ability to
mhm.
traverse these different states, like dream states and psychedelic states and real life. And right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the thing that she said to me was, you have been here before. You're part of us. You know, your past lives, whether people believe in it or not, I very much do believe that our souls reincarnate. I do believe that we've been, this is like our essence. And that's part of what the beauty of this planet awakens who we have always been in other lives. You know, we've got all this wisdom. It's within us. And so that's what it awakens in us. And it just, yeah, it's incredible. You know, not only that, but she did say the ancestors told me to give you this particular power, which was called a Malumbi power. And she said, we've never given it outside of our tradition ever to anybody. So she said, you're the first. And it was this beautiful ceremony that we held. And I think in part to answer your question, I'll just go back after that experience. I felt something different connect for me in the medicine, you know, facilitating journeys for other people. I felt, I don't want to use the word more powerful. That's not necessarily what I'm saying, but I had a different capability. I will say that.